This case involved data on 4th and 5th graders using a fractions tutor. We used causal discovery algorithms that suggested that teaching students to understand the subject deeply before they become fluent in it would help them learn. A future experiment confirmed that.
The fractions tutor is an intelligent tutoring system that uses a cognitive model of students' knowledge. Over 3,000 students have participated in classroom experiments with the tutor. These experiments showed that students who used the tutor for a week improved their test scores by between 32 and 48%. In particular, students who were taught to use multiple graphical representations like pie charts, rectangles, and number lines learned more than students who used only a single representation. But we didn't know by which mechanisms learning was occurring. To get insight, we decided to tap into the data we had collected to build and test causal models of students' learning.
Graphical causal models have been used extensively in the last few decades. They've been used for fMRI research, genetics, and more recently educational research. The problem is there's trillions of possible models that can explain the patterns you see in the data. Luckily, we've seen some algorithms developed lately that will actually search this space and come up with a small set of models that are plausible, cohere with your background knowledge, and explain what you see in the data. We first used causal models on the variables typically used to represent mechanisms of learning: number of errors, number of hint requests, the time spent total. It turned out that none of these variables revealed mechanisms that were going on in this case.
To identify better variables, we turned to theories about learning, which led us to consider sense-making and fluency. For fractions, sense-making means to understand how different representations depict the same information. Fluency means to quickly and effortlessly use these representations. When we applied causal discovery to our data, we found evidence that sense-making enhances fluency, but not vice versa. That led to the new prediction that we should support sense-making before fluency when we teach fractions. We tested this in a new experiment that compared students who worked on sense-making before fluency or on fluency before sense-making. The results confirmed our hypothesis: sense-making before fluency led to the best learning gains.
So to summarize, in this case, we had rich data collected on hundreds of students, state-of-the-art data analytic methods, and learning science, which yielded a prediction and an insight which was later confirmed in an experiment.